Welcome to Center Heights Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly appreciated. Thank you to those who follow the channel. And again, please hit the likes, subscribe, tell your friends and family about it, get them to subscribe, and share the video so we can grow the channel, which is an integral channel. All right, it is November 10th, day after last night's game with Montreal heading into Toronto. It is, which was November the 9th. And as the title states very clearly, uh, it was a very straightforward game. Habs were outmatched. No match for a team that was well seasoned and well oiled machine. The Leafs were compared to us. We're a young team, and it showed. And we still, you can see, have major lack in confidence. There's at least it's more respectable 4-1. I know it's not the greatest outcome, but it's within the realm of things. Monty got the start, and kind of the usual, but we were outplayed severely there. Habs did their best to keep up, but however, outmatched very clearly. We're going to get into the score. So 4-1 was your final. This is how the game goes. Goals were scored in the first period, one by the Leafs, and in the second, and none for the Habs. Second period, we get our one lone goal by Galley again, and it was 3 goals by the Leafs, 3-1 there. No scoring in the third. Final score 4-1. And Wall got the start for the Leafs and played well. Monty, played average. William Nylander got the game-winning goal. And Mitch Marner had a goal and an assist to extend his point streak to 8 games, and the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Montreal Canadiens 4-1 on Monday night. Nylander also had a goal and an assist in Toronto's third consecutive win. John Tavares and Connor Timmins also scored for the Leafs, and Joseph Wall made 20 saves. Morgan Riley picked up an assist to become the Leafs' third defenseman to reach 400 in his career, joining Beaujeur Salming, 620, who was class act, and Thomas Gabriel. All right, let's get to the 3 stars. Very straightforward. Mitch Marner, 1 goal, 1 assist, +1. Second star, Joseph Wall, 20 saves, 1 goal against at a .952 save average. And third star was William Nylander, 1 goal, 1 assist, and even plus minus. So we'll go right to the first period, 14:55. Connor Timmins scores, assisted by Simeon Bennett and Ryan Reeves. That's just when you're getting their fourth line to score, that's not a good thing for the Habs. That's usually where, Habs are usually fairly good at shutting down Toronto's fourth line. But it shows you just how when things are going right, they're not going right. So second period starts, and William Nylander's always had good games against the Habs anyway, and no surprise that he gets the second goal, assisted by Matthew Nyes, who had a strong game. Morgan Riley on the power play. You can't give the Leafs power play. Right now they got a pretty deadly power play. 8:24, Mitch Marner and David Kampf, short-handed goal. I mean, come on, man. That's not a good message to our power play that we're getting scored on it. It's just one of the problems we've had. 9:26 of the second, Gallagher finally scores with a nice follow-through, assisted by Emil Heineman, and knocking it out of the air. He did beautiful hand-eye coordination, assisted by Heineman and Hudson on the power play. And more than not, we seem to be seeing that there's more success with that second unit. I don't know what's going on there, but at least it's giving us something. 12:15. John Tavares, of course, unattended by Suzuki and I think it was Matheson. Anyway, he was left alone. Didn't pick up his man. We had Suzuki. I'm a little concerned. That's one area where he had side of the net too. When Marner scored, he should have had him. He was on Marner, and he just didn't wrap him up or take him out. Just left him there. That's a little concerning for me with Nick Suzuki. 12:15, John Tavares scores this again, like I said, unattended by, you know, I want to say, yeah. Anyway, Mitch Marner gets the assist and Nylander assist power play. Third period, no scoring, but the final shots and they weren't that far apart. Montreal did keep up in that department a little bit. 27-21 for the Leafs. Hits 24-20 for the Leafs. Face-offs 35-27 for the Leafs. Power plays 1 for 2 for the Habs, which is good. At least we're still scoring on it, other than giving up that shorty. And 2 for 4 for the Leafs. Penalty minutes 10 for the Habs, 6 for the Leafs. 12 giveaways apiece. Takeaways 6-4 for the Habs. Block shots 7. That's just not where the Habs should be. 21 by the Leafs. So they almost used our game. There were definitely some penalties here. I would say some penalties that we know that Max Domi and Savard got into it. Wasn't much of a scrum. Can't call that anything that was worthwhile watching. Um, but there were some calls against us where you just couldn't figure how the call was made, whereas it was actually our player who was, really the one hit. And officiating for me is still a concern with this league. You find they can't get it right at times. I mean, how does Monty get crashed and there's no penalty called, and the Habs get a penalty called? I just don't get some of the calls. They're just too inconsistent in the NHL. This is an area needs to be cleaned up. But the Habs once again, what are we at? I think are we at 5 or 6 straight losses now? I think it's might be 6. Anyway, it's around about there, and this is getting the bleeding's got to stop, and we don't have that easy of a schedule either. We got Buffalo coming up, but I believe Monday, and then, excuse me, the Wild right after. These are not easy games for the Habs. So in the mindset we're in, you can see the concern and frustration just building. And like even when you look at Marty, um, there's definitely so much frustration that he's trying to hold back. You can see it with this young team, but I don't know. I don't know. We just got to hang in for it. At least, like you say, we're not getting too crazy of blowouts. Our goaltending situation, it's just not. It's not there. You got to have a goaltender to be able, especially when you're playing like the Leafs. I see, you can see they have now bought into Berube's system, and they're playing it well. And they were just coming with continual pressure on the Habs, and it's the usual thing. We just seem to get caught in our zone, and got to stop giving up the odd man rushes. A lot of 3-on-1s in this game, and they shouldn't have been that way whatsoever. Thank God timing was off, like which with Mitch Marner, or otherwise the score could have had. You could have had easily another 3 or 4 goals against us due to the 3-on-1s, and that's got to stop. We got to get more consistent and stop being so sloppy. And I have no problem with defensemen wanting to jump in, but we're getting a little carried away. There's got to be some control of it too. There's a time to do it, and we don't seem to be able to read when to do it, and we're getting busted. I mean, like we've seen the tires get blown out on Doc at the line on a power play, and of course they go down and score. And Suzuki can't take the guy out. Doesn't anyway. There's some, and for me, he's been having a few of those issues of taking his man in the defensive zone. But it's been the whole team. Let's not just say him, but that's where I want to see his game pick up to where it can be, because, as I said, we know he's produced for the Habs, this year, one of the guys, but he's not at his top level yet, and nobody seems to be. Uh, Even Caulfield seems to be actually now. He started off playing several good games, and then now he's starting to last. This is about 2 games where he's starting to slide down a bit. Um, and Slav, for me, I'm sorry, he's got to get his feet moving. I'm just tired of watching him standing still. And anytime he uses the body, he does all right. He's got to use that frame. He's got to understand you can't just, he got smoked by Nyes, and it was a clean hit. It was a clean hit. I don't know how you don't see someone that's going to take it, and then he gives a little shot back, but it's nowhere near with that frame. Come on, use it. And I love Slav, but he's got to start using that frame. That's when he's most successful. He's got to realize that, again, um, I like what Heineman brings. He's at least bringing it every night for a kid. He's at least taking the body, and he's one of the few doing it. It seems to be, I see most of the hits are usually him and Gooley. Um, so, we get a odd hit thrown every now and then by Anderson or Newhook sometimes, or, you know, um, even Jack Eye, but, and maybe, um, uh, you know, Struble. And, but for the physicality that Struble and Jack Eye can bring, and I like the pairing of those two. I know there's issues when Struble gets caught, 'cause I find Struble wants to take off on the odd man, make that move, but he's got to start learning how to time that. That's my knock with his game. It ends up being a turnaround with odd man rushes on us. That's one area he's got to clean up and just be more effective with the body at taking out people in front of the net and that type of thing. But, same thing. I do like the improvement with him and Jack. Yes, they got burnt once. However, I think Savard and Matheson got burnt. No, Gooley was on once, I believe, with Matheson. And they got burnt, and then I think one other time it was Savard. Anyway, there's a lot of burning going on. Our defense are all guilty of making errors, but it's our forwards coming back too. I did not find Suzuki did a well enough job covering his man. I didn't find Doc did. Doc was um, a little more ineffective tonight. Which these are the games you count on him. And really, I mean, I look at it and Galley, when we got to rely on a guy who's probably not going to be here after that contract. And thank God for it that we have him, because him, Evans, and Heineman have been our strongest players. And Caulfield's had an all right start, but he's starting to taper off in the last few games. But those three at least are giving you the grind. But we're missing something, and we're missing a lot of grit, I think, in our forward group, and what the Habs are going to do, or should I say when. I don't think they should press the panic button whatsoever. Don't get off. I think they need to stick to their plan. Just happened to be. Again, I'll reiterate, they shouldn't have said we'd be in the mix, because we're missing some veteran players that are on this team this year. There's a lot of pieces that were taken away from this club. Same thing. I think, you're in a situation where your young defense, there's at some point going to have to be a decision made. But again, you don't have to rush it either, because none of them have had the amount of games under their belt. It'd be nice to see them be able to get to a point where they all had enough touches that pretty much could evaluate better. But we're not there yet, and we're missing leadership though on this team, and a goaltender. My God, it's time to. Unfortunately, you're going to have to, you got to unload Primo at some point coming up to that trade deadline, and get yourself a veteran goaltender if you want to salvage anything. Monty's not the answer as your starter. Let's be straight. And with a backup that doesn't push him, we're just getting very, very bottom of the barrel net minding. And for a team, and I know, people could you can Jake Allen fell to this as well, and because the defense is young, and the team is young, and they got to somehow At least they're putting out effort in these last few games. I'll grant them that. But I mean, the frustration, the bleeding's got to stop. You got to win a game some point. That if you want to get your you can't just keep losing. It's not a great culture to end up falling under. So they got to dig themselves out of this hole. And no, you don't. These fools that are, from I believe it's BPM Sports and TVA and all that. They got to stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Always head hunting. We're not at a stage for that now. Do we have to change some things? Do we need some coaching experience? Yes, I'll agree to that. But Marty, by no way, shape, or form, should be canned. And the hearing those cryouts, that's a bunch of nonsense. I do think that maybe management should come to him and say, you know what, we've given you the opportunity to bring in some experience. We're now telling you we're bringing someone in to assist you because he needs help. There's no doubt. I'm not convinced with the two assistant coaches he has. I'm just not there. And even this guy that they brought in that's upstairs, I don't see what any of these three guys how they're improving any of the play of the way our system's being utilized. We got to start clogging up the center ice area. I mean, the way we were allowing Toronto to carry the puck down the ice, that's neutral zone's got to be clogged better than that. Um, Guys, I honestly think there's also the need, someone that can teach this defensive system that they're trying to do better, more of an expert. You need a tactician for that spot. It's going to be a hard ride either way. We got to understand that. There was just a misquote of them being in the mix. But you still can't stay losing too long. There's going to have to be a point. And I know he uses work. We're getting the word rumorville wise that he's been in phone calls, and nobody's going to want to make trades right now. And when they come, it's probably you don't want to panic and overpay. So you almost gonna have to wait it out a bit until something is available. If it's available, great. But for the most part, it's probably going to be more so closer to the trade deadline, like maybe maybe you're looking at January-ish. I don't know, but the goaltender is definitely got to be focused on here too, because I like what's in Laval, and I don't really want to disturb it. And if I was bringing someone up, and I wouldn't want to do that because you'd be disturbing things like Hughes down there in Laval. I'd bring him up because he's more of an experienced goaltender, but I don't even want to do that because I think this team needs just a veteran goaltender brought in somewhere from the NHL that can take over the lead role, and then Monty with him, and you go from there. Because we got a good thing in Laval going on, and to subject either especially Dobish, who I think is doing fabulous as well. I wouldn't subject him to the mess we have right now in Montreal, and it's a shame. Like I say, Brendan Gallagher just keeps coming through, and what more can he's a warrior. Evans, good warrior too, and again Heineman for a kid that guy's got to have a spot. Because at least he brings it nightly. It's a matter we need a heck of a lot more sandpaper on this team. This team's got to get much more physical, um, and clogging the neutral zone for sure. They're just letting people freewheel. You're going to do that with a team. Look at Toronto's now got their team bought into what Berube's doing, and he's coaching them well, and that's a well-oiled machine. We were no match for them, so there should be no surprise. It could have been a lot worse. So go Habs, go. Again, the good thing is we're almost in a throughway battle for that number one pick. So that's where we stand, and it's looking like we're gonna be a bottom five team. Really, it is. It's just there's gonna have to be an injection of a real good veteran that is super gritty that can bring in some energy to this team. A right-handed defenseman with experience that can take over that role for Savard. Like I said, I think his wheels are done, unfortunately, as great of a guy as he is, and a goaltender. It's those are our needs, and I just think we got to do something at some point, or something's got to give. I don't know, and I think if you brought in a tactician, that could be the answer. So thank you for watching. and we'll see what happens with us going against the Sabres. They're playing all right now. They're playing better than us. Let's just put it that way. So that's going to be a challenge. I hope we can grab onto it and grab a victory there, because there's not any easy games, especially in the shape the Habs are in at the moment. It's not looking pretty. But we got to be positive as we can. We'll get another good draft, but it's getting to the time when the closer we get to trade deadline, we're going to have to make a move, and we just got to be careful of not screwing this culture. So pending from there. And like I say, I know Lonnie would help things. He would give us a second line, but I don't think it would be the end all be all. I think there's still much more needed that this team doesn't have. And we got to get really gritty with a good leader. So, with that being said, you've seen it here at Center Heights Productions. At least, again, at least they've been playing respectable. And keep your chin up, Marty, uh, and Hughes and Gordon. But Hughes and Gordon, I would say it's time for you to you have to bring somebody in to help Marty. And there's no end to some buts. I don't think what's with him is I don't think they're the right teachers. That's just my bottom dollar with it. So thank you for watching. You've seen it here at Center Heights Productions. We will catch you in the next episode, which will be tomorrow night with Buffalo. We'll see what happens there. We're on a long road trip. Let's hope we can steal one somewhere. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. God bless.